I don't know if this is going to bring us to the right place or not, but I got a feeling it's going to be totally fucked up. It looks like we've gone live at least, and you're here, so it's good to see you. And I see that you're an anti-magnetologist. Hello and welcome, everyone. And I'm looking at my phone to see what's going on here. And
Uh,
I don't know if it's
I'm
going to show me live here. Okay, well, Deep State's here. Commander, how's it going? Good to see you.
I still don't see us being. Wait, now I. Oh, dude, you have two streams, and a lot of people are waiting in the wrong stream.
Okay, can we tell them to come over to this stream then? There's
Yeah.
Plant Tester. Okay. Yeah, because the other, I'll have to fix this later. I've totally screwed it up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone that I brought you the wrong problem. Didn't set up a DSA stream. Oh, that's okay, Commander. I hope that I get to join a DSA stream soon. Sadly, my lighting, my video, and my audio are all messed up. Oh, yes. Yes, we do. So, Commander is, for those of you that don't know Commander, Commander has been dealing with a medical emergency for their mother overseas and then trying to get their mother back to the U.S. And I actually don't know if her mother made it back or not. I know they were flying back, and they have a link if anybody wants to donate. I'm sure that if anybody hasn't heard about this, and they do have the means, that they will. And thank you to anyone that can do that. And I see Holly, I see Top, I see Bree. We already said hi to Commander. Vandy, is this working? Oh, there's PC, who's here. Thank you for coming by. Sorry about all the mixed up stuff. This is the 169 sub special, and I can't believe I made it. Vandy, do I have audio working?
Yeah, I hear you. I have the yeah, okay. I just checked on the YouTube and I can hear you there as well.
Okay, good. Your audio went really down for me, but I think that was on my own volume at my end.
That I can probably do something about that.
Thank you, PC. And Journey is here. My unfinished journey, which may well be their unfinished journey. And they may be related to the unfinished sock. Reggie's here. Oh, you hear Tap good? Okay, that's good to hear.
Okay.
Geos is here saying that Tap is audible.
Cool.
So that's amazing. Sorry, hopefully
let me
I'm not
know
banging my coffee mug
let me
around too
know if
much.
that changes because yeah, I can
Well, we know
fix
you
that.
have a habit of losing everything all at once.
Huh.
But usually that's because Maya like kicks you. But this is not Maya. This isn't BSS. This is this is this is going to be good science if we have any science at all. But we'll probably avoid all that nonsense. But Tap and I, well, we're very good friends and we share a lot of interests. So we may go on and on about a lot of stuff. And we may have other people come on. I could not figure out how to get the video to work. And I thought, I usually go live without the video and don't worry about it. But I was like, for the 169 sub special, having my face visible would be both wonderful and frightening. So here I am. And I think that we're going to be talking to each other and people in the chat, and we're going to be talking about the 169 thing. We had some special requests for Highway 169 chat, and I can't remember who asked me for that, but the chat came up with that as a special request, and there's a couple of Highway 169s, and I did look them up before, and I forgot to bring it with me, but I'm just going to look it up again right now because it did come up really easily. It wasn't hard to search this out. So Highway 169, and special shout out to Ember. She's with her son and can't join. and which is, great to be with your family, but it gets in the way of YouTube, and so it probably shouldn't be done. No, that's a terrible thing. You know what? I think it's actually wonderful to spend time with family. Cap's actually, I think, met both of my kids and sort of my wife on the phone, knowing that I'm taking them places. So in Ontario, which is the province that I'm from, there is a Highway 169 that existed up until 1998. And 169 ran in the very near northern parts of Ontario, near Aurelia, Ontario, which is the head office or the head base of the OPP. And yes, Commander, I will figure out a way to send you a link to this. Let me just get started, and then I will get that sent out to you, and we'll have Commander join us. So that's what the 169 highway that I came with. So Ontario had one, and it was used. It was used in Ontario, and there's this whole thing about the Kings and Queens highways, but they were always called the Kings highways. So this actually serves areas that I'm pretty familiar with, places that I've traveled to for personal reasons and for work reasons. And so it's in an area they call Central Ontario. It was decommissioned in 1998, as I said. And it served Simcoe and Muskoka, which are two sort of large rural municipalities, I guess we'd call them, hitting Gravenhurst, Bala, Mactier, Washago, Bracken are the towns. And it went to Highway 69 in Foots Bay, and went to southern terminus was on Highway 12 north of Bracken. And it was just under 100 kilometers. It was 91 kilometers. So there we go.
So you know what that felt like just now?
What?
That felt like this channel that I've seen. It's it's Leroy and Leroy behind the camera. Do you know Leroy and Leroy? And Leroy and Leroy behind the camera, they have a channel. They're Canadian, extremely Canadian, and they go around and they do shorts where they're like, "There's always something to do in Canada," and the whole thing you like they.
That's true.
And it's always something really mundane and like not at all exciting. They're like, "We wanted to come and see this sign." And it's like just an unremarkable sign. Let me see if I can find them and we can show a couple. Because it's pretty funny.
Okay, no, that would be good because some people don't believe my Canadian accent is real, eh? Because they don't know that I just got, once I come in here, I've just been out talking to Buddy. So I'm going to while you're looking that up, I'm gonna find the invite link and figure out a way to get that over to Commander. The sign was gone in the last one. What was that?
This
the sign top knows this one. Okay. Dr. Tapioca is going to share this. Okay, we're going to put this up, add to the stage.
I think this is the right one. Yeah.
Oh, that's Paris, Ontario. I've been there, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, Buddy used to send me down to Paris all the time.
Turns out it's right here in Ontario. Although the Eiffel Tower looks a lot different than I expected it to. Locals call it Paris. Just a heads up if you find yourself in St. Jacobs, Ontario. This is where the horse and bike lane ends. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do with it, but you can't park it here. Just a heads up if you find yourself heading down Calidar Drive here in London, Ontario. On this power pole, there's power lines. Just a quick public service announcement. If you happen to have taken the Punky Doodles Corner sign, we drove all the way here from Saskatchewan to see it. So we're going to be here for about another 45 minutes. If you can bring it back, that'd be great. If you happen to find yourself here in Waterloo, Ontario, you got to come and check out this art installation. And people say, "Hey, what is it? And he said, well, clearly it's a needle and thread going through some rusty sheet metal. We really think it ties together the community. We were in New Hamburg, Ontario today, and someone told us we need to check out their big water wheel. We're no experts on this or anything, but I think it would work better if you put it in the water. So we're in Thomas, Ontario, and we've been trying to find a place to park overnight. But we can't park here. We can't park here either. We thought about parking here, but that one doesn't work. Then we were going to park here. You won't believe it. We can't park there either. But right down here, looks like we're good to go. We're in London, Ontario today. That's Leroy. That's Leroy. I'm Leroy. He's Leroy behind the camera. There's always something to do. So my whole life.
So yeah, that's the channel basically.
That's a good one. And I'll just remind people that hopefully Commander's connection is good, but their voice sometimes clips out because of the way their system works. So welcome, Commander. How's it going?
It's going relatively good. Got to head out to the southern Pennsylvania tomorrow to basically report for work on Monday.
All right, sounds good.
Which is good because I'm gonna need a fuck ton of money.
Well, fuck yeah. Yeah, fuck tons of money are hard to come by. That's a rough thing to come up with. And so we haven't talked in a couple of days, so I guess you found some work in trucking, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I did. And basically 60 cents a mile, and then I'm basically told minimum number of miles is 2,300, which is quite a lot, and it goes up to about 2,700.
Yeah, if you can get them in. It's harder to put them in the east than it is in the west. But in the west, sometimes you get shut down for 3 days for the damn snow, right? So, well, there you go. Unfinished Journey says, various, and myself. There's 5 of me. I once changed the result of one of Tapper's Cambrian buddies all by myself. Well, there you go. So yes, Unfinished Journey has an unfinished sock. The Changeling. Go ahead, Commander.
What's the unfinished sock? I am curious.
Well, I'm assuming that's Unfinished Journey sock account, but I don't really know. I just make assumptions. When I see unfinished, I just assume it's Unfinished Journey, but like there might be a whole bunch of other ones. Like I know there's ones that look like they're Dr. Tap, but it's actually Sumami.
Yeah.
Is Sumami here? Did I see Sumami come in? I don't remember.
I saw Sumami. I let the thing
go flying by me there.
I saw Sumami in the other chat. So
okay, the one, the fuck. She probably thinks it's another fucked up one.
I mean,
and when I
fool me once, I'll go grab a tea and never come back.
And I do have to say this, just because things are, and then I won't mention it again. I actually don't have a place to stay anymore because I couldn't pay the landlord. They don't want to rent to me again. So I got to find, and basically the only thing I paid was my car insurance so that I could work. That's the only fucking bill I paid this.
You have to have it intact to keep working. Well, I hope that people are able to see this and do something to help out. And I think you've explained the scenario. Yeah, thank you for posting your link there. So yeah, people can help Commander out. Commander's right back at work starting. Well, I guess tomorrow is your travel to work day, and then you start Monday kind of thing for orientation and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're gonna have a rough go.
And Mom is coming back on the 26th.
Yeah.
Mom is coming back on the 26th, traveling with my brother.
Oh yeah.
And then
yeah, that's gonna be a big load of stuff to deal with. So it's a good thing you're a trucker, Commander. You can deal with a big load. But yeah, you can't put your whole family in the cab of a truck. Well, you could try. It's probably been done.
I could put my brother. My mom has to go to a nursing home.
Yeah, she's not doing well
if
at all.
If she ever gets back sick again, we cannot, But let's get back to what the stream was originally about.
Well, the stream is it's the 169 stream. So I can't find the American Highway 169, but I mostly because I got distracted. And also my phone has now decided I want to know about Highway 169 in Canada. So I found me like 9 other websites about Highway 169. So I'm sure I actually drove on that highway. Now I want to shout out to Amber because she also pointed out that her favorite number is 169. Or no, her favorite number is 13, and 13 times 13 is, as it happens, 169. And I have 13 viewers according to the YouTube counter. The rumors of my connection.
I'm not gonna say where, but I recently had to report to Gate 4-1.
Okay.
What? You cut out for a moment.
Yeah.
I recently had to report to a gate number 401 for travel.
Okay. 401 for travel.
We were talking about, in other words, the gate was number 401.
Oh, okay. So you had you had a numerology moment.
Wait, like at an airport?
Yeah, well, you were talking about that too. Yeah, kind of.
No,
yeah,
for sure.
Where on earth are there 400 gates?
Well, there's not. Basically, there's building something or other, or terminal something or other. I'm trying not to dox locations.
Yeah.
Because if you look it up and I tell you where the gate was, you can figure out probably where I live, and that's
Well, Reggio's has a
I
very
don't
important
advertise
question.
the city.
What's Reggie saying? No, the 160. Yeah, so it's the 169 in Minnesota, and I believe it.
Did I take command of the gate?
Did you?
For a moment when I was walking through it.
There you go. You were the commander of 401. And 401 is actually the biggest. It's not the biggest highway in Canada. It's the most traveled highway. I think it does the most amount of volume of traffic per day in North America, traveling through Toronto, and it's because it's really the only way to go from Michigan to Quebec through Ontario, hitting there's just so much traffic that has to go on the 401 to get much of anywhere. And the part that runs through Toronto is the most traveled area. The biggest highway or the biggest street in North America is Highway 11, which is Yonge Street, which has its southern terminus in Toronto at the shore of Lake Ontario. And I have been almost all the way to the very end of it. But 169 in Minnesota. Is that how you pronounce that? Tap used to live in
Minnesota.
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 I just Googled it. Apparently, Highway 401, according to most sources, it's the busiest highway in the world.
Is it the world? So,
yeah.
In my understanding, it's like volume of traffic per hour. And I had to drive on it yesterday, and it was closed. And I had a bad time getting back to the yard yesterday. It took me 2.5 hours to do a drive that should have been an hour and 20 minutes in ideal conditions, an hour and 45 tops in rush hour. You're scooting away there, Journey? Okay. Well, if it's still going, it's still going. I told my wife I wouldn't go on all night. And as Red Green, one of my countrymen, always used to say, if my wife's watching, I'll be home right after the show. So hopefully people believe that.
Al, if I didn't know you were from Canada, I couldn't tell from your accent.
You couldn't tell.
Yeah, you have to ham it up a little bit.
I gotta ham up.
I think in my experience that's true of most Canadians though. Like they have to ham it up a little bit, or they have to accidentally say a boot.
A boot. None of us say a boot. I was actually, and it was actually Sumani that gave me the idea. I was gonna bring one of my pairs of boots down here to show you what a boot is, because I thought for the 169. I should be doing a show about Gitch. I think the booths are a little bit further south. And I bet this is going to be one of those opportunities where Dr. Tap doesn't know what a gitch is.
I have no idea what you're talking
A
about.
gitch is a very Canadian word, eh, bud? I'm going to tell you what that is. But first, we're going to talk about the southern terminus of U.S. Highway 169. And a U.S. highway, for people that don't know, is a state highway that's often built up almost as much as an interstate, but it's run by each individual state. So 169 would be a Minnesota one. And Elmore is at the Minnesota-Iowa state line. And I'm going to tell you a trucking story about Iowa. And then I'm going to tell you a family story about Iowa. A trucking story about Iowa is Iowa 80 is I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's the most fantastic truck stop in the world. And no fucking clue.
I assume
if
it's on
any good. I've never been there. What's that?
I assume it's on I-80.
I think it is on I-80, but it's in Iowa. And it's called the Iowa 80 truck stop. It could be, I mean, for all I know.
Probably have been.
I've never been there. I don't know. Like, it's one of my dreams to drive down to the Iowa 80 and go to their chrome shop and see all the crazy shit they got in it. But I've been on their website. It's pretty fucking crazy.
I'm 95% sure I have been here.
To the Iowa 80? And Commander, have you been to the Iowa 80? You're a red-blooded
No,
USA
not yet.
trucker.
I have not driven in Iowa yet.
All right. Well, so here's funny story. My grandmother grew up in Iowa, in Davenport, and I've never stepped foot in the state. She went there when she was a young kid. She came back and married her husband, my grandfather, who I never met. Raised her 4 children back in the southern Ontario area that I am from. And as far as I know, she never went back to Iowa after like her early 20s. But I've never been there. And my connection to Iowa is that my grandmother grew up there from like her earliest years through to, I guess, like university. So that's the story about Iowa and Al Trucker. B.S. Lewis wants to know how the hell Tap got on here. And he'd have to have a soul to sell it, wouldn't
he? Yeah.
Okay, now, and I started the comment, but I still see the unfinished sock one. So I don't know if it came up or not.
I'm still seeing the unfinished sock one too.
Okay, that's weird.
So I don't know.
So is it that I have to unstar the other one? Hide current. That's what I got to do.
The number of questions, chat today. The number of questions that Al has asked me, as though I should know how to answer them, about streaming, like 20. He was like, "Well, if I give you info, will you be able to like host it if I do and I'm like, Al, I don't know. I don't make content, okay? I click a link and then I get yelled at by the Queen Goddess whenever I do anything else. So, it's fair.
Well, if you did your shit right, it would be a lot better, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but then, I mean, my whole shtick is incompetence.
All right.
And lasers.
Yeah. Well, how many Zeds are in physics?
F I Z Z Z Z Z Z Z I Q U E S.
That's the French spelling. That's physiques.
Best I got, man. Best I got.
All right. So 11 Zs.
Oh, was that how many? I
was counting as you went.
That's good because I wasn't.
Right. That's good too. And BS, I don't know if this is working when I click on this and start a comment. Do you see that come up there or no? I don't think it's coming up.
No, I'm not seeing.
It worked on. Oh,
there, I see it now.
Okay. B.S. Lewis says the soul is intrinsically linked to magnets, and Tap wouldn't understand.
Frankly, if that's the price I have to pay for a soul, I want no part of that.
And I also see that I Am Victoria has arrived. And I Am Victoria says, "Get your pants in the UK." And in the UK, pants are are like your underwear, and in Canada, Gitch are your underoos. You know, like the ones that you'd wear around your buttocks and your unmentionable parts of yourself. You know, the ones that would be covered in cotton if you lost your trousers or your trues.
Oh, I don't normally wear pants when I'm streaming, so
All right.
I wouldn't.
Well, I decided, because I've been working through all the pandemics and all the nonsense, I decided to put on PJ pants to do the 169 sub special, because I just thought it would be fun. PJs are
Oh, you mean just pajama pants?
Pajamas.
Yeah, okay. I thought it might have been like a term of art.
Yeah.
And they were like special trucking pants or something.
Trucking pants, yeah. They are trucking pants.
With that,
let me tell you. Go ahead,
with
Smith.
that, there's like that pain in the ass if you have to get out and you gotta put the jeans on and stuff. So what you do is you get relatively tight but not too tight sweatpants, so that you can just put them over your jeans, and then you basically get the benefit of 2 layers when you're going out. But it's like pajamas when you're inside the truck.
So like that's not the way I do it, but I'm a different kind of trucker than, well, Commander was doing yard dogging, which is, I mean, I don't even know if you take your jacket off to do yard dogging.
I'm going over the road.
But you're going over the road
I'm
now,
going
right?
over the road now.
So what
I've done over the road. I'm
You
gonna
did
do over the road
and then
again.
you were yard dogging. I'm just saying yard dogging, you probably wouldn't want to change your pants every time you change trailers, is all I'm saying. You probably wouldn't even want to take your jacket off. Or you'd want to wear like a medium jacket and just sort of be covered, like when because you're in and out. Like what a yard dog is the yard dog is not the driver. It's usually a single axle special tractor. It has a very heavy duty single axle, and it's used to move the trailers around in the yard, where just to bring them in and out of the warehouse. So they're getting loaded, they're getting unloaded, and so a lot of times an over-the-road trucker will bring a trailer. Sometimes they're going to unload and reload that trailer, or they'll knock something off the trailer and keep going. Hey, Maya, welcome. Good to see you. But sometimes they'll just drop the whole trailer off and they'll pick up a loaded one or whatever. But somebody's got to like deal with all this trailer. So the yard dog is the tractor that does that, and the person doing that work, or it's called a shunt driver, I think is the non-colloquial term. But yard dog is sort of what you call that truck that picks up the trailers, and they're set up with a special fifth wheel that raises and lowers it. And I'm glad Maya's here, because Maya absolutely loves when we talk technicalities of trucking. That's her favorite. It's her favorite thing.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
What the heck is this thing that I'm sharing?
Oh, fuck. I don't know. Let me push it. Add to stage. That looks like a DAF cab over tractor from Europe. And there was a little bit of a glitch on my side.
I paused it.
So in Europe, they call that
this is all
exceptionnel, which is French for exceptional convoy.
Why are they moving a washing machine the size of Rhode Island?
Hey, Robin's here. Maybe Robin knows.
Because they have to.
You know, same algorithm. Apparently, I am Victoria saw this same video. Which I would blame myself for both of you.
Yeah, probably
interacting with that, because it's probably on my algorithm. I haven't seen this one.
Have you ever lifted anything that big?
No.
You've probably lifted things that heavy. I don't know that this thing is necessarily, but I don't even know what it is. Like,
so the company I work for now doesn't do quite as large stuff, but this is going to be special equipment for something. And Commander, were you saying you know what this item is?
You know, I was I thought that I remembered what the permit you needed for that was in the United States, but it's escaping me at the moment.
So okay,
basically, you need a fucking permit. I'm
It's a
just trying to
order for
remember
TV.
what the permit is called.
Yeah, the permit. Okay, so the over dimensional permits that we have in Canada, in the U.S. might be called something else. Over dimensional could mean a whole bunch of stuff. And the term that's used colloquially and possibly by some states or jurisdictions, and for people that are in Europe, I don't know if this is the same. But in Canada and the U.S., and I wouldn't be surprised if Mexico is similar, individual states and provinces do all the road maintenance. They may get federal funding for some of it, but they do their own maintenance and they make their own rules. So you could be licensed in Texas, and whatever Texas says about your license is cool when you go somewhere else. But you can't do something that you can do on the road in Texas. You can't go to Iowa and do that and say, well, I'm from Texas, we do it in Texas. You have to follow their rules, but the license they gave you in Texas, if that license lets you drive this giant truck, that's fine. But you need to make sure that your weights and your dimensions and stuff like that match what Iowa wants when you're in Iowa. So you could actually be in a situation where this is going on. So super load is what they would call that. Convoy exceptionnel is the French term for exceptional convoy, which just means great big fucking thing on a truck. But overdimensional is the general official term used in Ontario, which is where I do most of my trucking.
Do you agree with this commenter that Flatbetter here? I think thinking maybe 3 4-inch straps and 10 bungee should do it.
I agree with the joke.
No.
That's
the joke is great.
That's 3 jokes in one. First of all, people that do heavy haul, like the kind I do, we're supposed to disrespect people that do regular flatbed or skateboarding, which I don't actually, because it's a lot of work to do. All open deck work's a lot of work. But typically, by the time you're doing really heavy over-dimensional work, you've got a lot of experience doing this type of stuff, and therefore you're king of the road, so to speak. So that's the first joke, is that the person chiming in is claiming to be a flatbedder who knows all about it because they've hauled lumber. And then they're thinking 3 4-inch straps, maybe 10 bungee cords. So the 2 jokes there are not enough straps. Straps would never be used on this load.
I don't know what you like. This doesn't even seem to have anything that's like keeping it. Like they're just going based on physics. They're like, okay, straps are not going to matter. We just have to keep its center of gravity underneath its supports.
No, they would. This thing would be.
I have to.
Go ahead, Commander.
You're just reminding me of things I gotta look up. Now, the company I'm working for, they're probably not gonna have me do flatbed, but I gotta look up all the regulations on how often you gotta check those fucking straps, because you do have to check them. I think it's like you gotta check the tires after the first 150 miles, or is it that?
Yeah, so it's 125
miles.
Kilometers for the first check in Canada, I believe, when you do an open deck load. And hello, Apostate Sisters, and welcome. Yeah, so it's 160 kilometers, I think, for the first check, and then it's 240 and every 240 after that, which would basically put you at around a 2.5 hour mark. And there's not a trucker in the world that has ever skipped that stop and check, ever. It's never happened. Everybody, they have a little timer set, and they jump out every single time, no matter what the conditions are. Yeah, bungee cords have absolutely. The third joke is bungee cords have no business doing anything except holding a tarp onto a properly secured load. They have absolutely nothing to do with it. And if you put bungee cords on something to keep it secure, it doesn't count as anything. And I actually did on Monday, I took a load where they gave me ladders on top of everything else. And so I put the ladders into where the straps were, but they were going to move around, but they couldn't leave the trailer. The straps were holding them on. So I used bungee cords to hold the ladders together, because there was 2 of them. and I put those on it. I put them onto parts of the trailer so they wouldn't shake around, so they wouldn't look bad.
Yeah, they're
But I
not
actually had straps
structural, they're
securing them.
organizational.
But yeah, no, yeah, they have nothing to do with anything like that. But yes, Commander, the open deck regulations, no matter whether it's the type of work I used to do, the type of work I'm doing now, which is basically what I've been doing now is just moving slightly smaller machines on a slightly less heavy trailer, but it doesn't drop down. But the company I work for works with people that do. So my new boss said it might come up, might not. We'll see. But honestly, I don't care as long as I'm putting a paycheck in the bank. But I used to operate a machine a lot like this one in the picture. It's just that I never moved this type of stuff because the company I work for specialized in moving construction equipment and mining equipment. And this type of thing that you see here is something that's been built to do a job. It might be related to construction or mining.
So this, according to this person here.
So what did it say? It's transporting massive turbine. I was going to say like power production is one of the things that comes to mind.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the
tunneling and stuff
that big.
This is the nacelle is the housing that contains essential components of a wind turbine, such as generator. But see, it still seems massive for even that.
This would be one of the like biggest wind turbines do get enormous.
Yeah, but the blades and the blades and the mast go down the road here all the time.
Yeah,
and they're not.
I think this is probably like one of the biggest turbines like in the world.
I would assume.
Because
I've seen the blades transported. Some of them,
like
you have, I forget what that's called, a basically a truck that has an I-beam and the tandems are on the back, so it's like adjustable because they call such long
it uses I forget what they call that. Like it's sort of like a beam float, but it's not. It's they basically use a dolly, and some of them actually, like that bar is really just a pipe that they've tied the air and electrical lines to, so that you can still see the lights and stuff. But those are so long they can go down a highway, like a major interstate highway, just in sort of a straight line and minor curves. But anything you do off the highway is going to involve multiple escorts and stuff like that. But even like the ones I've seen in Ontario usually are 3 escort deals. So, but it doesn't need to be police. But once they get off the highway, they're probably going to police escorts shutting down in like roads to get to a final destination. And this thing here, this is the type of road where I would expect road closures.
Yeah. Frankly, this guy standing down here, is brave.
He's probably crawling at 5 miles an hour too.
They're not moving fast.
Yeah. Okay, but that is a slope, and like gravity is a thing.
Yeah. Well, so is a jig. So. Yeah, you would not ride your brakes down this thing. You'd be geared down. You'd have your jakes on, and you'd be doing. And one of the funny things I see people, because I worked in tight areas and stuff. We would take really quite large machines on smaller rigs because they were just going to get made smaller rigs down the road anyway. And none of it was ever overweight, though. In case the MTO is listening, it was always perfectly right in underneath the proper weight. But I see people floating with escorts and stuff, machines that I've done without. That's probably the difference between jurisdictional rules on it. But I always love the ones where I see like a guy that's got like 4 escorts on a machine that like I've picked up and moved across the city more than once. Because I always think that's hilarious.
Why would that happen?
Why would what happen?
Why would that person end up having a bunch of escorts and you wouldn't? Is like, do they choose that, or is somebody else?
It's a bunch of things, but a lot of times it's jurisdictional. So in the States, you guys are super, super persnickety about your road taxing. I think the thing is, like, rather than tax people a normal amount and build good roads right from scratch, you guys put down like half an inch of asphalt and hope for the fucking best. or at least in Michigan, that's what they do. I guarantee you, in Michigan, no, not more than 1/2 inch of asphalt's ever been laid at one time. Because when you drive
Well,
into Michigan, it's like a buckport.
Now we do have a bunch of cheapskate buckwheats. And the cheapskate buckwheats are actually in the areas that are going to be hit hardest and most by the biggest cheapskate buckwheat.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a lot of changes jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but in the States, like, I see people all the time like, oh my God, I'm at 79,910. What am I going to do? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not used to this type of trucking.
I don't even know what that meant.
So that's like how many pounds there. Like even the type of trucking I do now, we're rated for way more than that much weight. But the gross weight of an American tandem truck is supposed to be 80,000 pounds or less. And typically you've got a 40,000 pound ish empty truck and a 40,000 pound ish load that goes on it. That's kind of how it's done. And I want to address what Reggie's saying here, because I'm like, I have to think about it for a second, because it's a long one and the print is small and I'm old. Seen a group of trucks having an issue making a turn on another road in northern Iowa, a short way from Minnesota. Intersection is not controlled. Yeah, sometimes they do. That will happen, right? They'll put what Reggie's saying is sometimes like the only way to get there is to go in a bad spot. But they didn't construct the intersection thinking wind turbines would ever be a thing, because wind turbines, generally speaking, like wind power, is something that people are railing against, and it's become very political to have wind power. And I suspect a lot of that politics is from, traditional power sources, which are, when I say traditional, it's kind of a fucked up thing to say if you think about it.
Fossil fuels.
But fossil fuels, because fossil fuels have become traditional, and they probably should become like traditional as in like that's what we used to do at some point. I don't think we're there yet. Like, I agree that we can't just wholesale like knock that industry into smithereens. That can't happen, but efforts need to be made to get further along. We got to figure out ways of doing it. But that doesn't mean it happens overnight, and it also means that we shouldn't socially engineer a situation where people distrust wind-powered electrical generation because, I don't know, like,
they think it causes fucking cancer.
Yeah, because wind causes cancer. Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess all the sailors died of scurvy before that could happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
So scurvy came up in some debate I saw or listened to this week, and I was like, it was a really annoying one, and I can't remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure it was.
Was it the one that you sent? Because I watched the one that you had sent me.
The one where I said this
FTFE and the guy was just screaming at the top of his lungs at the debate, and I was like, "Are you okay, dude?"
Yeah, no, the guy was that guy was unhinged. It was unhinged. Although I love thinking about expressions like unhinged, and I know there's a word for this, but you never like leave a conversation from someone who you thought was like particularly not just erudite but calm and well spoken, and say, wow, that guy was super fucking hinged, right?
Yeah.
But
no,
that guy was unhinged.
Yeah, there's no symmetry in the idiom.
There's no symmetry in the language, right?
Yeah.
And what about flammable and inflammable?
Yeah, they both mean the same thing.
Yeah, I remember that. Dr. Nick Riviera, it's like, don't worry, the gas is inflammable. And then the entire thing goes up in flames.
Yeah, I don't use the word inflammable because it's not helpful. I only use flammable and non-flammable.
There's no such thing as non-flammable.
What people know exactly what the fuck you mean.
Not enough fucking heat.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough.
All right. I'm trying to share this one and it's not working. Oh, I did it right again. Okay. Apparently, you got to finger it twice. All right. Holly said, did he not think scurvy is a thing? No, in this particular debate, it was they were talking about how you could find out something you wanted to know in history. So, for instance, and I think the debate might have been a religious one, and it might have been a creationist against a normal person. But one of the things that was brought up was like, how did we know that scurvy was a disease people got and what caused it before modern medicine? And the thought was that we had ship's logs to show what people had to eat and whether or not scurvy was prevalent on a ship that was at sea for weeks or months at a time. And so they think they started to figure out, well, it's not necessarily that they knew that like whatever vitamin C is called is some sort of acid or something. It's not that they knew that. It's just that they knew if you eat this illness will not come. And they might have even said like, you have to eat this types of fruits and vegetables, and not knowing that it's this vitamin C that's protecting them, but just that if you eat this particular set of things, you will do better than if you don't.
That's why the Brits are called limeys.
The limeys, yeah.
Because they were given limes.
Well, there you go.
Part of their rations, and they didn't get scurvy.
Well, there you go. And, I don't know too much about limes. I do enjoy them in a diet soda, but I call it pop. So yeah, so this was one of those discussions like, could you know something by studying information and not being there yourself to know it? Like right on, like that was the argument that was being made. I can't remember who made it, but the person who was arguing the logical side was saying, well, you could look up all this stuff and you could figure this out, and you wouldn't have to have the scientific method of the modern day in order to do some.
No, but that is a scientific method.
It's not, because it's not formalized with a published paper at like an accredited university and stuff, doesn't mean they weren't looking at something and saying, hey, all the ships that took marmalade out to sea did a whole lot better than the ones that didn't. Why don't we send marmalade on every ship? It's a good luck charm. Like even if they had some sort of religious thought to what was going on, is like, God smiles on every ship full of marmalade. It wouldn't fucking matter if you took preserved citrus fruit on these ships. You didn't get scurvy, but also people didn't get scurvy in other places because they got these nutrients from somewhere else. And they maybe didn't know they were protecting themselves from scurvy, but they knew that if you ate this, you would stay in good health. And traditions passed down. Trial and error is a good way to figure things out. It is, Reggie.
I use it all the time. There are a lot of times when trial and error is faster than doing it so like there are times in the lab when I could figure out exactly what I need by calculating based on data I have available to me and looking up and making a model and doing the thing and running all the numbers and getting an answer. Or I could be like, well, this should probably almost work, and then I build it, and then I see like, okay, that didn't quite work for this reason. Let me fix that reason, and then I do it again.
Yeah,
and I get a thing, and it takes me 15 minutes to do that, and it would have taken me 30 minutes to do the calculation. So just do it.
There are things where we try. I think this is true for many people, and you start to just get good at things. And I think for myself in a business where I work with machines, and I've been noticing this too, like learning to drive a new truck. It shifts a little differently. It does this and that a little differently. Like getting the feel of it over the last few weeks has been a bit of a trick. It's just it runs a lot differently. It's not that I've never been in one like that before. I just never drove one often enough to really get the feel of it. And there's a bit of trial and error in that, and you think, well, if I can drive this, I can drive that. It's like, yeah, it's true, but every machine, even two made on the same assembly line, don't handle exactly the same. And so there's always some of that. But I also think about, even an instrument, like you sometimes just have to do like some fine tuning with a dial, because like it should be around 10, but you don't know if it's 9.5 or 10.5 or somewhere in between those. And so no matter how many calculations you do to get an exact spot, that fine tuning can be like a main thing. And I, not to be confused with the fine tuning argument about deities and whatnot, but I want to welcome the Canadian Ollie Man to the chat, as well as the
Real.
majestic Peeback. Two more Canadians are here. There's quite a few Canadians, because I think Victoria is also Canadian. Go ahead, Commander.
I'd have to say the universe is fine-tuned towards death, because life can only exist in a little band around a star called the Goldilocks, or at least life that we know it.
Yeah.
And it can't exist everywhere without a planet or a moon of a particular size with a particular makeup. So yeah, the universe is fine-tuned towards death.
Well, that does make a lot of sense when you look at like depending on whether you're like comparing the volume of one thing or another. But we have so many instances where the Goldilocks zone is, and you're not wrong, Commander. I'm just saying the Goldilocks zone is bigger than we give it credit for being.
Yeah.
And in addition to that,
it depends on it depends on like the planet stuff. Like if Venus was located where Earth is, I'm pretty sure Venus would still be uninhabitable. I think.
Because of what Venus is made of.
Yeah, because it's sulfuric acid.
Stephanie, you heard we were talking about sailing. Yeah, sulfuric acid is like we don't interact with living creatures that do well in sulfuric acid. We're not familiar with them. And
mostly slime does well in it.
Yeah.
Say that again, Commander.
Slime, basically bacteria and algae of various types do well in it, but not much else.
And even most of them probably don't.
Yeah,
but they're just
some specifically adapted ones. But we found creatures that do really well in areas that we wouldn't have originally thought were the case. And so I think it's fair to say that we keep learning more about the universe that we live in. And to say that the universe was fine-tuned for us seems silly to me. I think it's a whole lot more as in like life found a way, life finds a way. One of the interesting things, we were talking about dead highways earlier. Well, I brought up a dead highway in Ontario, the 169, because it fit in. And there's 169 in Minnesota, there's 169 in Ontario. It was a previous highway, and it's gone. But I remember a show that was on many years ago, and it was probably on the CBC, which is CBC is like BBC for Canada, and the US would have something like this, except that they would never allow PBS to do anything that high end, because that would be like a mishandling of taxpayer resources. But they had a show where they went and looked at interesting things around the country, and they were looking at these old highways that have been abandoned because there was no need for the highway anymore. A bigger highway had been built somewhere else, and so a big strip of asphalt was left. And rather than pay money to rip it up, they would just let it go. And one of the interesting things that would happen is they'd go back.
Turn it into an airport.
What's that?
Turn it into an airstrip.
Oh, you could in some cases, but depending on who the land was owned or expropriated to from, whatever, like it might have been promised to people, but they would go and look at these things 10, 15 years down the road. The asphalt was starting to deteriorate quite a bit. The cracks, the alligatoring, which is what they call when asphalt starts to like really break apart and you get that sort of, I think it refers to the texture on the back of them.
You sort of get these chunks and scales that break apart.
So that type of thing is called alligatoring. And well, people know I used to work in construction, so I dealt with paving and stuff. So we would see like alligator asphalt. So, and a lot of times it would actually be written up on a work order. Remove, this many square yards of alligator asphalt and replace with new asphalt or whatever. This was, so you'd see this like dirt would blow into it, a couple of seeds would blow into it, and you'd get some trees would start growing out of it. It's crazy.
Yeah, they'll rip that stuff apart.
Yeah. And Apostate Sisters used to live near 169 in Minnesota. Am I pronouncing that right? Tap, you're supposed to help me because you lived in
Minnesota. I never lived in Minnesota.
No, but you lived near Minnesota.
I lived in Wisconsin.
You lived in Wisconsin, which is the arch enemy of Minnesota.
Yeah, well.
There's a lot of Minnesotans in the YouTube community that I've interacted with. And I'm glad to have them. Minnesota is also one of those places that like has a lot of what's the word I'm looking for?
Lakes.
It's geographically similar to Northern Ontario.
Yeah.
Because I think the line between the two is pretty arbitrary.
I mean, it's probably like, what are the bounds of the Canadian Shield?
I don't know. It's fucking humongous.
It goes into parts of Maine and
definitely it would hit
maybe even New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Yeah, I don't know, Tap. If you want to try to
goes
share
all
like
the way up.
because this thing is hard to function with, leaving on
And
a
the
tablet
Canadian Shield, it's just chock full of some of the best minerals the world has ever seen.
Oh, it's full of of all sorts. It's a lot of the granite, but there's a lot the pressure of all that rock on top of so many things for so long. We have a tremendous amount of gold and diamond in the Canadian North.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's the red stuff on the thing.
Here, okay, sharing. Tap shared it. Add to stage.
Apparently,
this is big enough for people to see, right?
I guess it's the reds.
That red thing, yeah. So Maine is not quite I think Maine's a little bit further over. I think Commander's thinking of the Appalachian range runs through part of that, and there is this sort of valley.
I was thinking of that beautiful granite that I've been driving through there. I thought that was associated with it.
There are some granite. There's some granite uplifts in the Maritime provinces in Maine, and also
they use granite. Like granite is everywhere.
It's everywhere. Area. Granite. The difference in a Canadian Shield is like so much of it's been scraped off.
Yeah.
I think by glacial activity, and then when it got scraped off, I think the igneous rock sort of lifted up.
It makes all the metamorphic stuff and all the metals more accessible
really
because it's been all scraped off.
Really hot, yeah. So this is what the area like not too far north of me looks like. But I live in an area that's far more agrarian than this, but an hour and a half north of me in the right direction, I hit this. And if I stay a little bit further west, it's different. That's why Newfoundland is called the Rock. That's right, Majestic Beck. That's why they call it a rock. It's the granite and rock in Newfoundland is a very different color and texture than what you see in a Canadian Shield. Typically, you'll see a bit of black rock, but mostly you'll see a grayish and reddish granite through Ontario.
I have no more pictures.
And Apostate Sisters. I know Apostate Sisters is usually one of the sisters, but I am not good at guessing. I got a 50-50 chance of being right. Tap, do you want to be the one to guess?
What am I guessing? Sorry,
Which sister?
Soul
Which sister what?
Which of the Apostate Sisters is the sister that's chatting with us? A or B? Patty.
I'm going to go with Q.
Okay.
Yeah. You weren't expecting that.
No, and I'm not even sure I heard what you said.
I said Q.
Oh,
You
Q.
said A or B, and I reject your choices.
You reject all of my choices. Well,
Yeah.
welcome, Patty. It's great to have Patty in the chat. Patty in the chatty, is that a thing? Has that been said before? I'm sure someone's coined that before. Maine is a product of the Acadian orogeny, which sounds sexual but isn't. I think I pronounced it orogeny, and I didn't mean to. Nick Zanther does a great job focusing on geology of the Pacific Northwest, focusing on Washington State. Well, there you go. Chatty Patty. Well, there, that's good. Commander, what have you shared with us?
Oh, it's just a video. You just link to the channel. You don't have to watch it right now.
Oh, okay.
It was just some channel peddling.
Maya's taking the piss at her tap. I don't know if I should post that up, but I think Maya would be mad if I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not kicking him out though, because like he helped me figure out how to get on here, sort of. I mean, he mostly just didn't stop me from doing stupid things, and we finally got here.
So I actively harmed things because I didn't stop you from doing stupid things.
Well, you know what? I mean, I don't think it's looking better with my actual moving face on the broadcast, but I decided since I was doing the 169 sub special that I would like get on here and do this. I also realized that my Kenworth hat is not showing up, and that was the main reason to get on here.
You have a really bright light right behind you.
Is that helping?
Well, when your head blocks it, it's like not too bad. I'm gonna stop talking because I don't know anything about lighting. So.
Well, I know I fucked up the lighting, but we're here, right?
Well, anyways, lighting is the difference between looking 20 or looking 40.
Well, luckily I'm older than both of those. But, you know, hopefully I don't look a day over 60.
I just look homeless.
Does anyone else see? You do kind of look homeless today.
Yeah.
Although you look a lot better than you did when you first woke up this morning, I think.
No,
our hair looks similar.
Yeah, but
because I don't have a working shower in this place, and I need to keep my hair all kind of conditioned, or it looks just like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You're basically the same person sharing one hair thing. Oh, and Red Just is saying I'm radiating light. I think it's just bouncing off. Like, I actually have keyless fixtures in the basement here still. And I was thinking, man, it would be nice to have enough money to put, like, nice fixtures in here. I had, like, a dream about renovating the basement, like, 2 nights ago. I don't know why.
No. As Chad is mentioning, what that phenomenon is you have a halo because God is sending us a message. And that message is, blessed be he.
Oh, I don't think BBH comes around here because I'm too mean to them.
Well,
but only because she's a troll. I think she and Pastor Fuckwit might be the same person.
We're only going to talk about you for a few more minutes, honey.
Okay.
Did you get a chance to watch last week's stream, Al?
No.
The Bad Science Sunday? You should check out Bad Science Sunday from last week. It was one of our funniest.
What the fuck did I miss?
You missed all the new lore.
Lore?
Yeah.
What kind of lore? Oh, Commander just turned into well, she took her jacket. Them. What I never know what to call Commander because they usually go by they, but they look very feminine in this first picture. And then the second one, even more so. But I don't know.
Fair.
Anyway, Commander, you can tell us about your outfit if you want, or we can just not mention it. Hey, Sumami is here.
The lore that you missed, by the way, BBH and I are roommates and we're engaged to be married. So I'm gonna be leaning into that real hard.
Okay, does her husband and her 9 children know about this? And are you going to make them call you daddy?
There's a possibility.
All right.
But yeah.
Oh man.
It's pretty clear, like she must have, like, you know, I obviously, since she's my fiance and we live together, like a deep like.
Are you suggesting that like the whole story is like oh man, the father knows half dozen children. Oh, is it only half dozen? Sumami, sorry, I gave BBH 3 extra kids. Yeah, BBH doesn't like me because every time she starts being nasty, I'm usually not very nice back. I want to be not very nice, but
I genuinely don't know what her issue is with me. I like it does kind of remind me of like the girl who's mean to the boy on the playground because she has a crush on him. It really does remind me of that.
That could be it. That could be. You might be exactly her cup of tea. Exactly her cup of tea. And go ahead, Commander.
Now I get it. Why Donald Trump is horrible to everyone. Because he secretly wants to sleep with everyone because he's the girl. He's just being mean to everyone on the playground because she is horny.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
You know what? Horny Trump actually like makes me feel like worse than anything I've heard today. But
I am so sorry. We basically have to hope we have to hope that there's a magic cheeseburger that takes him out of our misery.
I think we might have to hire the lady with the magazine again to keep him under control.
There's some things going on behind the scenes in the Slim Cyborg gang amongst the Americans that may or may not pan out, but stay tuned.
All right. And as long as we're like accidentally and on purpose insulting people, here we go. Majestic P-back.
Bon Jovi.
Actually, no insult intended. Not towards the dog. Anyway, if Dr. Tap had more gray hair, he would look like my dog, Mr. Bon Jovi. Exactly the same haircut. Well, there you go. I think Majestic Beck owes us a breed explanation because I'm just I've never actually considered what dog Dr. Tap looks most like. But it's like I'm thinking go ahead.
We should come up with some options and put a poll in the chat.
Has this been covered? Like Commander,
I don't think so.
Commander 401 actually like has a very sort of canid looking avatar and has for quite some time. But other times they show up in like a penguin, sort of an avian looking thing, like a water bird.
Yes.
And so it's
a penguin in power armor. I got a bunch of avatars. I need to find a penguin in the power armor.
But this one
that's for the flirts, but
go ahead.
But when I did the streams about the false prophets, I thought that let me pull this thing at me. That I used to be and I know the Bible better than a lot of those dot followers. So if they had something like this, teaching them what the Bible actually said, it would work a lot better for the so you're basically warning them about what the book says, and if their book says it was basically like the first YouTube channel I ever was involved in was devoted to proving Donald Trump was the Antichrist. They didn't even know I wasn't a Christian. So having religious fundamentalists who like that being lectured about the Bible by this thing and actually quoting the scriptures
I think
and warning them that was why I started using it more.
Well, Commander, your other avatar, the one when you talk, the one where we see you talk, isn't the one I'm talking about. The one where you're still, it reminds me of like the 19 is it for like the 1940s like dogfighting aviator jacket thing from like like the Second World War, like aviator's jacket is what I'm
It's
thinking.
just an AI, but yeah, that's an aviator's jacket.
Yeah,
I didn't
I'm
ask for
thinking
it. I asked for a leather jacket,
leather
but it
jacket. Okay,
works.
because I'm thinking like I get like a real like sort of like hot shot pilot, but it's got sort of like the I don't know what you call that. Is it called a crop top? Like the pink top underneath makes it look like it's maybe supposed to be like an
Yeah, but
anthropomorphized feminine looking dog type thing. But I'm maybe
yes,
making
and
wrong
it's
assumptions.
it's an AI thing.
It's an AI. Yeah, AI does not always do what you want it to do. I have learned this lesson many times. You're
Yeah.
gonna do something
Yeah.
dumb and play with the screen to see if it makes the lighting better or worse. I feel like it's making my face look worse, but it's a tough job.
And if you were asking about pronouns before, it's either they, them, or she,
Okay. Thank you
They,
for
them,
clarifying.
because it's ahead of the deep state. So they and them are constantly behind
They
it
them.
all.
Exactly. They them. And that's I've been calling you they for most of the time. And I just realized I didn't want to make a bad assumption and jump ahead of myself because I usually just say that
And
they
if things are coming from friends, I don't care if I basically say something and then someone who I don't know decides they're just going to be a jerk, then I will take offense. But
well and
normally,
that's a good point because yeah, no offense is actually intended, I think getting your knickers in a knot, so to speak, isn't necessarily helpful, but it's important that we be respectful. Does everybody else see tap blink like that when he like the screen blink, or is that just my end?
um,
It's
Scream
happened a few
Blink when
times. It's happened a few times. It goes black and then you come back again. It's like it takes like 2 seconds.
well, I have not. I don't believe maybe I've turned off my camera once this stream,
Oh
but
no,
I don't
it
think
must be
so.
a glitch on my end. And it happened to Commander a couple of times too, but it hasn't happened in a while. I've only seen the blinking. I've only seen the blinking on Commander back and forth from the two avatars, not turning black, which is what yours has been doing. But if everyone else is seeing a good stream, that's good. So we made it through the conversation about the highways. We made it through the conversation about the good Lord and everything that people think and don't think about that. And we made it through the scurvy and the sailing conversation. And we've talked about Canada and we've talked about the Canadian accent. And I now that Sumami's here, I feel bad that I didn't grab one of my boots to bring down here because Sumami said that my work boots look
because
like
you need an boat.
and a boot. We
A
don't
boot.
say a boot. We never say that. That's not something that we do.
I know.
But
I
that's
said
because
you
you live
need
close
a
enough to Canada
boot.
to know.
I've heard you say a boot.
You need a boot. In other words, a ship. See?
True. I will speak about a boot. What I wanted to talk about the boots that I have, the work boots I have, because Sumami brought them up a long time ago. They somehow I was doing one of those weird streams from my personal vehicle, and I set my phone down, and it like landed on my boot. So I said boot there, and my boot somehow Sumami thought it looked like who's the guy from Zelda? Link. She's like Al has Link's boots. And I'm like, I don't, I have Al's boots. But I kind of get what she was saying. It's like I wear like what is called a Wellington.
Well, Link has a lot of boots. He's got like the
I have a lot of boots.
Well, there's like the heavy boots that he uses to like walk around. on the bottom of like a lake, and then he's got the ones that like float. I can't remember what they're freaking called.
You don't recall saying that. Well, Sumami, technically you typed it, and it caught my eye. And I thought, and it was a really weird thing that caught my eye, and I'm like, they're not at all really like those sort of boots, like, because what it reminds me of is this sort of the swashbuckling boots of like the pirate era, where people would have like long soft leather boots, not like Wellingtons. And Majestic Beck's talking about the beef Wellington. I do not think you would want to eat Wellington boot. And one of the interesting things about Wellington is a place that's not too far from me geographically. It's like a large sort of county or municipality, and there's a brewery there, and their logo is the boot. It's a great big black boot, and it's called the Wellington Brewery, and it was named, I'm sure, after the Duke of Wellington. But boots are a really important part of my job, and have been for pretty much my whole life. And I remember my first pair of Wellington style boots were kind of like a slight Western style, because they had a bit of that sort of the narrow front toe area. And I have, at this point in my career, I have 2 pairs of Western work boots, one summer pair, one sort of most of the time waterproof ones that are Western style. I have the Wellington ones that have the round toe, and I have a pair of 8-inch sort of standard work boots.
That's because you buy boots like I buy computer mice.
I don't think
so. Everybody, I want everyone tomorrow at like 3 p.m.
What time?
To private message me. Buy fucking you need to buy steel-toed boots. Easter.
So we're doing this on Discord. We're gonna DM you on Discord. Buy boots at 1500 hours Eastern.
Yeah, because like
okay.
Yeah, because like,
are you writing
tomorrow's last day before I.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to be there.
I just like if I ask about pen and people, maybe someone will remember, including me. But I actually, like, you were talking about boots, and I was like, oh shit! For this job, I need steel-toed boots.
Because I wanted to talk about boots, because everyone says that we talk about boots here, but we talk about them. But you know what, Commander, I will try to remember that. I might even set myself an alarm. I'll set myself an alarm for 3 p.m. tomorrow, or 1500 hours Eastern, because we're in the same time zone. It's a big time zone. I am very Barry Minefield. I like that, Beck. That's even better. A fucking Barry Minefield. The Barry Minefield. That should be the name of the school. I think that would be great.
I wonder if Seinfeld has a school named after him.
He probably does. He has. There's a young woman who was in the Bumblebee movie who's got the similar last name, but I don't know if they're related. I forget her name. Halle
Berry?
Haley, not Haley Berry. Haley Berry Minefield. No, it's I think it's like Haley or Halia. It's something like Seinfeld, but it's slightly different, I think.
I'm so lost.
Okay. Bumblebee was this like little yellow car in Transformers.
Yep.
And they were one of the most popular characters in the original Transformers show of the 80s.
Yep.
And they got their own Transformers movie.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
Haley Steinfeld. There you go. It's very similar.
I mean, because you were talking about a woman from the Transformers franchise, and I only know Megan Fox.
Nobody
like that is
Fox. Megan Fox doesn't know Megan Fox. Haley Steinfeld or whatever. Yeah. So it's like Seinfeld, but I think it's Steinfeld. I think Regios is right on the money there. That totally makes sense. Haley sounds right. Anyway, so I had no idea that she'd ever been in any other movies, but my daughter says she's very popular now. So
I don't
I get all of my info from my children.
When was the last time I saw like a new movie?
I don't know. The Bumblebee movie isn't even new. Like, I think it's like, that's got to be.
No. That's over a decade old. I'm pretty sure.
Isn't it over a decade old?
I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty sure the
I
Bumblebee.
watched it like 2 or 3 years ago, but I thought it was old then, but I didn't think it was that old. But you never know. I mean, all the tech in the Transformers universe is so far beyond what we have here.
Okay, no, it was 2018.
Oh, okay. So that's like,
so not that old.
That's 7 years ago, though. That's like we're starting to get there, right?
That's like a frat kind of time.
What's that, Commander?
It doesn't seem like that long ago, but 7 years is a long time.
Yeah.
She was in True Grit and Pitch Perfect.
I don't think I've never seen
Grit,
Pitch
like a Clint Eastwood movie.
Is it Clint Eastwood? It's that type of sort of thing. Like, I don't know if it actually was.
Like, not necessarily a true spaghetti western. It might have been like a rigatoni western.
Coen.
It was the Coen Brothers. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Coen Brothers do all sorts of cool stuff like that. Are you Googling something?
No, I was looking up
What is Pitch Perfect? I feel like I've heard of that too. Pitch Perfect. That must be an aviator movie.
No.
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 Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure? What else would it be? I feel like I must
singing.
Oh, it's about singing. Oh, jeez. Well,
Did you actually not know that?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay, well, I mean,
it sounded familiar though. I mean, maybe that's
like having perfect pitch as opposed to being tone deaf. Like, I'm tone deaf.
Well, I don't know if I'm tone deaf or not, but a lot of
you're not
like my singing.
You're not being unable to sing is not the same as tone deaf. Being unable to recognize good singing is what being tone deaf is.
Okay.
So yeah,
go ahead.
And actually singing good is really hard. Like, I wound up trying to sing. I wound up removing the voice from some of the AI voice songs, and then I tried it singing where it was and getting the timing right, getting all the words to be like the same way, and doing trying to match it, even though like it's going to be a different voice. It's hard. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think when I started writing lyrics for songs, which for those that don't know, I think most people are probably fans in both places, but Commander is also a talented lyricist, music maker, and has some great songs on their channel. I believe they're on your channel, right, Commander? They're not just Discord things, right? You've shared them from YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure
I can share one of them.
Yeah, go ahead. Share one in the chat there. You've done some neat music stuff, and I think a lot of people come to hear all of my great songs and are just hoping I'll start not singing. And Majestic Beck is, I think, talking about Majestic Beck's talking about Haley Steinfeld, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this person is a singer as well. Okay, I get it. And I don't know what is just a metaphor.
I also don't know, but it was probably something dumb I said.
It was either something dumb you said or something that somebody typed either somewhere else. I don't know. But okay, how do I do this? There we go. Okay. I'm going to learn how to use this. The Vandy tone deafness. Maybe they should start up one of them bands called the Vandy Tones.
Yeah, I'm not so. I mean, I'm tone deaf in that I don't have a good sense of pitch. That's all I meant.
Okay.
Like,
I have no idea what that even means. Yeah, instead of being like, because tone deaf can also mean like you have no idea what the fuck's going on in the world.
You can also be like properly tone deaf, like in the not metaphorical sense. Like,
yeah, okay.
It does vary. Like, some people are able to hear subtleties in.
Yeah. The pickups would fail because of the magnets. Yeah. Well, I have had conversations with people about like the fidelity and tone of digital versus non-digital music, like the old analog ways of listening to music captured music better. And I've always thought this interesting concept that you could, because you'd think it would be more, digitization often means something is slightly more accurate because you can get a certain thing to happen at a very precise moment. Like you can, like computerization can cut time into smaller pieces of smaller chunks, I guess. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, so the thing that you win with digitization is that you can like lose a lot of the signal and then still be able to perfectly recreate what you're actually trying to like recreate, because it's ones and zeros. If you get enough to figure out whether or not this thing was a 1 or a 0, then you can sort of, sharpen it up and it's perfect. It is necessarily lossy in the sense that an analog recording of something is going to capture all of it, or at least all of it that's like within its bandwidth. But if you just make your digitization fine enough, then you can very easily get to a point where you're not going to lose anything that a human ear could actually like hear.
Yeah, that sort of makes sense. And Reggio said like each medium has its own strengths and weaknesses, and that sort of makes sense too. And Tori has arrived. Hello, Tori. We got a proper stream going, but we screwed it up anyway. Well, Al screwed it up. Everyone else, Dr. Tap helped me test it, and everybody that came early helped me test it, and here we are. And I agree with Patty. I put my Unfinished Journeys story up here about, in honor of the stream, they took 169, going back to the bus barn.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go.
Nice.
And if you're driving a bus, your journey is really never finished, is it not? And Holly is still. I mean, everybody's still here. They just they're not all as loquacious as I am in the side chat or in real life, where I'm not good at shutting up. But I like this, and I'm glad 169 was taken in honor of the stream, even if honor was spelled incorrectly.
It was spelled correctly.
It was spelled. I don't know what I'm doing with my Vandy and the non-tonophones. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but like usually it lets me turn it off. It's a normal Al stream, yes indeed, Tori. Totally normal. Normal as in like totally fucked up. Well, I have wonderful news, and that is that I'm gonna somehow get merch off the ground. And Andrew is gonna help me come up with some artwork for it. And I think Vandy's already seen a couple of the ideas that are floating around. And I don't want to let all the cats out of the bag all at once. But I had another great idea today, and I think people are going to be blown away by all the fucks that I'm going to have, because they're going to be a whole bunch of French seals. There's going to be fucks all over the place.
Yeah, dumb fucks.
I'm not going to be out of fucks to give. So yeah, so I'm the fuck will feature predominantly in the merch that I'm coming up with, and Andrew's helping me make it look good. And I also by a show of hands. Well, you can't have hands. I want to know how many people think it would be cool if I had stuffed fox that you could buy, like what do you call that thing when it's like a plushie, a stuffy, you know?
Flushy, yeah.
Yes, it's called a plushie.
Who would want to buy a stuffed seal wearing a shirt that says the fuck?
Probably Mo if I had the money.
Yeah, you would definitely want to.
I'd buy it.
I would want to if I had the money. I guess the question is put a 3 in the chat if you want to buy a stuffed fuck. Majestic Bugs put a bunch of fucks in the chat. In anticipation of my question, I'm not really sure. Dr. Tap wants to buy one. One cool thing that I was talking to my son about this, because my son has very, very particular taste in his interest. Ember's here. How are you doing? Ember, we mentioned you at the beginning of the stream, and we said that we were really happy you're spending time with family. To the tune of Jungle Fox. 6. Yes, 3 factorial. Yes, I'm not sure if Ember meant 3 factorial, but
well, then she shouldn't have put factorial. 3 factorial.
I'm sure Ember means, or Beck means Ember factorial though. I don't know Jungle Fox.
Ember factorial.
How could I not know this Jungle Fox? Oh man, I've gotta like figure this stuff out. God damn it, Jingle Fox, fucking, I don't know stuff with what exactly. Well, I actually thought my son helped me come up with this idea. Is that because I want to have a fucking hell, which would have devil horns and a red trident, and my son said maybe there should also be a holy fuck, and I said like maybe there would be like a great big hole like right through the middle of it. That would be a holy fuck.
I would have just given the fuck a halo.
Oh, Ember just dropped off her son. A halo, yeah, but a halo is only holy in like one way. But
no, it's holy in 2 ways. The whole thing is a hole.
The whole thing is a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you put a hole through, see that we could put a hole through all the flippers, and then we'd have a really holy fuck.
Well, yeah, but that's animal abuse.
Okay, PC's got to fly, and PC's wearing a halo and the angelic wing. Moose meat stuffing is the fuck right out of it. Moose meat stuffing the fuck right out of it. Yes, thank you, PC. Like, share, and subscribe. I don't know if PC's trying to give us the hook or she's just like telling us that she's out of here.
What's she gonna do?
I don't know. I mean,
she gonna kick you off the stream?
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
PC is one of the top mods here. I know that. The typing guard. Typing guard. I don't know.
You're on guard.
Typing guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about like fencing now, or
no? I was making
now.
I've been watching a lot of aviation videos recently, and so there's a thing that regional pilots in the U.S. do, which is they go on to like 121.5, which is the guard frequency, and they make meowing noises.
Okay.
And then they get yelled at by other people, and it's very mature.
Okay, that sounds really mature. Do you think this meowing has contributed to like all the accidents in aviation?
No, it's harmless fun.
Do you really think Pitch Perfect was like not an aviation movie?
Absolutely.
Okay. What about Top Gun? Was Top Gun about aviation or was it about something else?
Top Gun,
Yay.
I'm pretty sure, was about a first-person shooter, right?
Yeah, it was about like Tom Cruise when he first got into Scientology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the cardboard cutout of Tom Cruise holding a sign that says Scientology is a cult? The best thing about it's the best thing about it is the cutout's only 4 feet tall.
I will say I've actually seen Top Gun. I've never actually seen Pitch Perfect. So it could be about the Muppets, and I wouldn't even know.
I'm ashamed to say how much I was never like a huge fan of Tom Cruise, but I was a big fan of Top Gun. Oh, Beamsy's here. Has the Weasel heard the LA Speed story?
I have. It's a really good story. Are you familiar with it?
Story. I don't. Is that about Louisiana or Los Angeles?
No. Okay. Do I want to find it and have the guy tell it? I think maybe I want to find the video and have the guy tell the story. It's like
It's gonna be like from the movie with Keanu Reeves.
No, it's about an SR-71.
Oh, an SR-71 Blackbird.
Yeah.
Is this going at the speed of sound? Okay, well, while you're looking up the SR-71 Blackbird, I'm going to say that the SR-71 was a really cool thing. And welcome, Beamsy. Good to see it. What was... somebody else said something I just wanted... Oh, yeah, the moose meat stuffing. Venison. So I think, like, if we had a fuck, it's a real story about sledge driver. Okay. I was also gonna bring up the Guy Clark song, "L.A. Freeway." But yeah, so like I think this would be like Canadian haggis to have a seal. Like if you hollow out a steel and stuff it with the venison of like say like a caribou and a moose and a deer and a rabbit, and you made all that meat and you seasoned all that meat and you like made it into like a nice sort of ground meat filling and then filled the seal with it, that would be Canadian haggis. But I don't know the recipe for that. Sledge driver trolling. Is this? So over 200 deer on the Highway 11 last week. Majestic. I
found the video, by the way.
Was that Highway 11 Ontario or a different Highway 11? Oh, that's more a turducken than a heck. No, well, see, a turducken is when you take a chicken and stuff it in a duck and stuff the duck into a turkey. And they're all solid.
I found the video.
Okay, we're going to play the video, but before that, I'm just going to say, you are Victoria. Eating beaver is half of what the 169 stream is all about. See? I can be inappropriate.
Nice.
At the stage. Here we go.
Okay, so
story. Okay, we're listening. Are we going to get copyright claimed, or do we have to like just make comments?
I don't think so. This is. I mean, it's
Johnson.
Because this is a person who is videoing this guy telling the story. I don't think so. But yeah.
Traditional
People ask,
Eskimo.
was it ever fun to fly the jet? And I told this story one time in Seattle 25 years ago, and it became, this urban legend or something. It's all true. One day, Walter and I are doing a little training mission around the United States where you take off out of Sacramento, hit a tanker in Idaho, rip on up to Montana, zip across Denver, hang a right turn in Albuquerque, rip out over LA, up to Seattle, back into Sacramento, 2 hours, 21 minutes. Then you do it backwards. You're just gaining time and experience with your backseater. You're just learning how to work together. Building hours. Well, we're on our last training mission. We've made the turn into Albuquerque. We're over Tucson. I can see downtown LA from Tucson. I can see
because the earth is flat.
Whole western United States bathed in a warm glow of a fall afternoon. 6 in the evening, radios are silent, the air is smooth, not a gauge moving in my cockpit. It is perfect. I can see the whole chain of the Rocky Mountains from Canada to New Mexico, and I'm in awe of this scene, and it's all perfect. And I'm thinking, we bad. And I feel sorry for Walter because he has to monitor 5 radios in the back seat. So I flipped the switch up, and those of you that fly know that what I'm about to say is true, that centers that control all the traffic, when you fly on United or Delta, and all the centers are controlling you. Albuquerque Center, LA Center, Seattle Center, Cleveland Center, Jacksonville Center. It all sounds like the same guy because they all talk really cool. They want to make you feel cool as a pilot. So they don't just talk normal. And I swear it's the same guy, but we kind of like it. So whenever you ask them a question, you're going to get talked to like you're somebody important. Those of you that fly Cessnas.
Can you hear Al? Al, can you hear the thing? Okay.
Hey, that sounds cool. Well, we flip up the switch, and sure enough, this is in the pre-GPS days. People always want to know their ground speed because they get lost, and they got to get their position. Who knows? There's always some Cessna guy. He's got to know his ground speed. LA Center, Cessna November Alpha Tango. Have you got a ground speed readout for us? Now, Center would like to say, hey, pal, who cares? Get our frequency. We got other things. But no, he's going to talk to him like he's Air Force One. Cessna November Alpha, we show you 90 knots, 90 knots on the ground. That's how they talk. I'm not making this up. Right after that.
I don't know what you're saying, dude. Because if you have to be able to hear this because some of the subtitles don't get all of the words like Cessna. So like
a twin Bonanza popped up to pimp the guy, I guess. Twin Beach or whatever. You got a ground speed readout for us, Center? Center probably thinking, God, it's Friday afternoon. Why me, God? Please go away. But no, he's going to talk to him like he's, a shuttle astronaut. Twin Beach, we show you 120, 120 knots on the ground.
What the heck?
Right after that, a Navy F-18 out of Lemoore popped up on frequency. And you knew it was a Navy guy because he talked very cool on the radio. Center Dusty 5-2 speed check. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Dusty 5-2 has a ground speed indicator and a $1 million F-18 cockpit. It's got it right there in the heads-up display. Got it right there. Why are we calling Center to broadcast our speed? Oh, I get it. We're just the meanest, baddest, fastest military jet in the valley today. We're taking our little Hornet jet over Mount Whitney and ripping across Death Valley, and we want everyone from Fresno to the coast to know what real speed is. And you could almost hear a little glee in the controller's voice, like just touch, like we've put an end to this. Dusty 5-2, we show you 620, 620 knots across the ground. And it was that across the ground, see that was that little, we've had enough of this, I don't want to hear anybody else now. And there was silence on the radio. There wasn't an airliner from Seattle to San Diego that wanted to be next on frequency, just an etiquette thing. And a 12-year-old was reaching for the mic button. And I thought, oh no, Walter's in charge of the radios. No, it's the Navy. They must die. They must die now. I thought, no, but if I do that, I'll destroy all the training, and I want us to be a good crew. And at that moment, I heard a click of the mic button in the back seat. Ladies and gentlemen, Walter and I became a crew at that moment. In his very best innocent Cessna voice, Walter, LA Center, Aspen 30, have you got a ground speed readout for us? You could almost hear a collective gasp on freak from everyone, like, oh, the poor fools, they didn't hear the previous transmissions. And Center had to give you that same voice. Aspen 30, we show you 1,942 knots across the ground. It was like a little glee in his voice.
My bad.
And I knew I was going to like Walter for the next 4 years. And when he came back, said, Senator, we're showing a little closer to 2,000. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know we never heard another transmission all the way to the coast. So for just a moment, it indeed was fun flying the jet. Most of the missions were highly serious, fatiguing, dangerous, scary, and very rewarding for what we were able to do. Berlin.
Yeah. So that's that's the story. I really hope you were able to hear that out because it.
I wish I heard it because I had a friend on the town who got denied disability, so I had to take a call.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I did something wrong in how I was sharing it, but I know that the YouTube was able to hear it. So I'll show it to you again later, Al, because this story never gets old. But yeah. The that F-16, F-18, whatever, he was flying. He thinks he's like hot shit because he's going like Mach whatever or something, and then the SR-71 Blackbird just gets up there and is like, here, hold our beer. In that moment, we became a crew. So, yeah.
It's a shame they stopped flying that thing. You could never shoot it down.
Yeah, but I mean, they were probably like worried that it was going to go suborbital or something.
Oh, where's Al gone?
I don't know. Apparently, he was having like it wasn't doing the thing. So, Al,
hello. Let's speak into the void.
I can't. The void. Okay, now I can see Al.
Oh, there he is.
But I can't hear Al. And I don't know what. No. Can I?
Nope, can't hear you.
According to Beamsy, two of these are still flying, which I didn't even know that was a thing.
I thought they retired then. Maybe they just bring them to air shows.
SR-72 is earmarked for 2026 rollout? Hold on. Is it?
Yeah, there is one, an SR-72.
Is it gonna be a worthy successor, or is it gonna be like only able to fly at Mach 4?
I don't recall. I'm hoping it will be worthy or better. Because it costs a fuck ton of money, and they tell us that we evidently can't afford to keep poor people alive, but we can buy countries, we can do war, we can do all kinds of fuck stuff that I don't want to do. So at least if they're gonna spend money on an SR-72, haven't been worthy.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, now we can hear you. Yes,
you can hear me now.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, this is like kind of like what typically was happening before, but I'm sorry to cut off Commander. The Blackbird, at least fuel by gallons until it got up to speed.
Yeah, you had to get it up to speed for it to work properly because like the thermal conditions.
I mean, it makes
sense. They needed to get it to fly fast because the plane needed to heat up for the fuel tanks to seal properly.
It ran on kerosene, right? Like jet fuel.
No, it ran on some gnarly stuff that, quite simply put, would give the detector.
I would have assumed that they would just use hydrolocks or something, but that's probably not dense enough.
I've never
but
thought
the
about what
plane needed to Let's look it up. But I do know that the plane needed to heat up for the fuel tanks to seal properly.
All right.
JP7 fuel.
Okay.
What is JP? Turbine fuel low volatility JP7. Yeah, it's used for high speed aircraft.
Okay.
And it was developed by master chemist Clarence Brown Eichmann for the CIA. So,
well, there you go. I guess they needed that. Still, the 2 flying SR-71s are with NASA. JP7.
That makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, they need something to stay on top of stuff. It is amazing that they, like, we think about, like, it was a couple of years ago, there was a big thing on the 100 years of flight, right? It would come out. I mean, it's been a while, but, like, but if you think about, like, how many years from the original Wright brothers flight to the SR-71 went by, and they had that level of flight technology developed, that's fucking amazing. Just absolutely mind-boggling.
We went from the Wright brothers to the moon in less than 65 years.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's a pretty amazing accomplishment.
And the SR-71 was invented with slide rules, not computers.
Yeah,
not
like
digital computers.
Same with Apollo,
Yeah, and the people that did I'm reading the word flying. The people that did the computations were astoundingly great at mathematics, but also one of the things computers do for us that we may not think of is they help us keep track of things. Because a lot of the brain work is still actually done by humans, but computers are exceedingly good at keeping track of a lot of numbers and stuff that we don't
searching
remember
through
how
them.
much that was to do back then. But that stuff is wild. And Beamsy's point is well taken too. Yeah, the computer controlled flight was key. The key. Now we can fly bricks. That's true too. And yes, and Ember, quite right. Computer used to be a human person's job. Yeah, the person that did the computing. And that, like, we think of a computer. Well, I mean, it's not a bad word for what the machine does, but our computers now are so many things to us. Even in fairly old transport trucks, the computers that run the fuel injection system and the timing in even like what seems like a pretty old diesel engine. I think the advent of the computer to do that brought us a long way towards the types of emissions controls and stuff we have now. I think they've been used a lot for that, but the precision of timing on internal combustion engines is highly affected by the ability of a computer to really quickly find out information and address it. And that's something people can't do, right? We just can't move that fast.
That's something mechanical mechanisms have difficulty doing.
Because they can only
over time they will bend and break.
Yeah, they can't adjust on the fly, right?
Yeah, camshafts, prime example of things that, well, as they bend, just like millisecond timing on an engine can really affect performance.
Yeah,
and the shape of cams.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be off by very much. I guess. What do you guys use down there? Thousandths of an inch, or the are your
usually thousands
for machining.
Well, The thousandth is the way the lingo is used. But if your average CNC machine will go down to a tenth, or for those who don't know machining language, a 10,000th of an inch. It's why we call it a tenth. And then I worked on manual machines that were able to go past of 1/10,000th of an inch.
Yeah, but it's the unit that is like kind of the rough scale that is like most useful. Generally, you don't need
thousands,
like a 10,000 of precision or whatever. You need like a thousandth is just like, inches are good for measuring things that are about this big.
Yeah.
Thousandths are good for measuring things that you're like machining.
Yeah, and Commander is a machinist by trade, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, done machining, truck driving, graphic arts. I have 54 credits towards mechanical engineering degree. I'd probably have to retake calc. While taking. Here's how I did the semesters. If I skipped a semester of calc, I'd have to relearn the first one while taking the second one. In other words, the one that I had last semester, I'd have to review it while simultaneously working on the current class.
Something just
Because there
went
were
crazy
things
on
that I
my
wound up
end for
forgetting.
audio, and I lost Commander's audio. Anyone else?
I can still hear. Can you hear me?
It just did it again. Oh,
Yes.
Man. I lost everybody's audio.
But
again.
I made it.
Terrible.
I made it through Calc 3 and
Did my camera
DE.
come back? No.
I almost
Okay,
graduated, but then the plague killed the credits attempted versus credits achieved, because that was one hell of a fucking year. The plague year.
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm back.
Now?
Yeah, I can be seen and heard. All right.
Yep.
Well, I apologize for the video working again. Commander, I lost you mid-sentence. I know you were talking.
Now
and we lost you again.
Oh, now we lost you again.
Now he can't hear us.
What are you doing to yourself over there, Al?
I used to have a problem like this where it was basically I was overloading the electric capacity of my USB port. And it was constantly cutting everything off. I had too many things plugged into it.
I could imagine. Beamsy's comment, to err is human. To really screw things up, you need a computer. Yeah, because that's how you mess things up at scale.
That's true. Because it won't stop. I just came back and I have audio and video again.
I will repeat it. I was a machinist. That was my first job. Then I did that for like 15 years, and I took and almost got an associate's degree in mechanical engineering, but the plague killed that. And then I decided to do the truck driving. And then while I was giving I actually started graphics arts, making flyers to put in the windshield of Trump supporters' cars with Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump romping around sickles and hammers. So my graphics arts actually led me to eventually wind up with Operator Starsky's personal phone number because he gave it to me. Oops, that's the first time I let that out. Since people made horrible accusations last time they learned that he gave it to me. But it's been a year and I haven't I haven't abused it, so.
I mean, that's how you keep stuff, right? You don't abuse what you're not supposed to abuse. Yeah, well, and yeah, you've been on quite the ride, Commander. And did I lose my sound
No,
again?
you're here. You're still here.
Okay. Because like
Yeah.
you were like nodding, and I thought you were about to talk, and I wasn't going to hear you again.
Well, now I really want to do the joke where I start moving my mouth, but I don't say anything just to mess with you.
Yeah, I
But
wouldn't be surprised if you do that.
yeah, I would.
Answers and
I
Atheism
totally
is
would.
here. Hello. Yeah, I
Hello,
think.
hello.
Well, I don't know if I mentioned that I timed the show badly because a lot of people stream sort of between 4 and 10 on Saturday nights. It seems like, and I picked 5 arbitrarily, mostly because Tap said he'd show up, and I was like, well, if one person shows up, then I won't be alone.
Well, it was also because, like, don't you eventually have to like go back to your family and stuff?
I do, yeah. Well, and I was actually thinking when all the I was like, well, this might be a sign that I should start wrapping it up because we did reach the 2-hour mark here just now, and so yeah, maybe we should like start wrapping it up, and I should go and have supper with my family and all that kind of stuff, and have a good time, and Commander's already put their link in for they're doing some fundraising to help deal with their emergency
And
situation.
it is an emergency.
Yeah.
We wound up spending about 2 weeks longer in the UK and about 2 weeks longer period in what we thought we were going to have to pay in hotels. And
Yeah, so that's a rough spot.
hotels, period.
And then
then
also the
I
medical
did,
and everything.
and I
too.
was
Yeah.
expecting, and then the only reason why we did that rather than come home after, well, Mom was still in the hospital, but I thought I would be okay because I was promised $2,000 in the severance package that the company didn't bother to pay me. So I got stiff $2,000, which means everyone else had to get stiff. So I had to stiff my landlord, so I don't have a place to stay or to stow my brother. But luckily, I can live out of the truck from my new job.
Yeah, that'll help in the short run, but you've got lots of other things to deal with, and yeah, so I really appreciate that you're here, spending time with us, but also, yeah, if I can spread the word for you and help you out, I appreciate the opportunity to do that for anybody that's able. And Dr. Tap,
Let me put them in.
Sorry, go ahead. You don't put the link?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I was getting worried my audio was going to completely die again. I think it's just clipping because of your voice machine on your end, but sometimes I wonder, especially after this evening here with my audio and video issues. I might not use this tablet for streaming again, but it did get us through almost it made us to the end because whenever it's over, it's over. Dr. Tap, we'll be seeing you on BSS tomorrow, I assume, with
Yes.
the Queen Goddess, Maya.
Yes.
Maya Atkinson's channel has a wonderful show. The science is not wonderful.
No, it's pretty bad.
The hosts and the guests are always wonderful, and the fun is wonderful, but the science is always bad.
Yep.
And I have to say something.
Go ahead, Commander.
If they are the thing that slipped, right? Just if someone sees it, don't be a jerk because we are in dangerous times. And well, the dude offered if I ever needed a reference for immigration to be a reference, so don't screw that point.
Hey, you know what? It's important not to burn bridges, and when you're decent folks look after decent folks. That's just the way it is, right? So
yeah.
I'm going to I get a shill for myself for just a second, and I'm just gonna say there was there was some in we didn't talk about Flurfs too much today, and I know Maya loves Flurfs, but I'm gonna say this: there was some back and forth in the Flurf community because FTFE went to that debate con thing where a lot of really shitty stuff has happened in the past and happened probably this time too. But Witless was there, and Craig FTFE met Witless in person there, and like holy fuck. Anyway, this is like the seal is it's all whole. It's all whole. There's no seal left. That's the holy fuck. Anyway, I wanted to show my song that I did about Witless, which Dr. Tap needed me to walk him through because what was the problem with it?
I'm bad at
Oh,
songs.
you're bad at songs. You're bad at songs. You need me to like write the thing. How could you not punch Witless? I don't know, Beamsy. I would not last long with Witless. And he brings disrepute to the gorgeous red beard. That's all I can say. But I wrote a song about Witless where I send him up on his Antarctic trip, but also about his word salad thing. And yeah, and I think that's the important thing. And then Majestic Beck says Bruce Lee live in the space between the blocks, and answers in atheism. And and the funny thing about that is Bruce Lee came up on Toon's show when he was talking to Dion Schmo, the Poe. I'm pretty sure he's a Poe. That guy can't be real. But the Flurf thing that was supposed to disappear with the final experiment has just turned into a weird place that I'm more enthralled by it than I ever was before.
Yeah, me too.
Now the people have gotten so fucking crazy.
I wouldn't mind visiting Antarctica. After all, I'm a penguin.
I think you should. And you know what, Commander, the the furry collar of the aviator jacket would be perfect for Antarctica. I think it would look really good there. But the crop top thing, that's got to go. That's not enough clothing for Antarctica. But the penguin suit, even better. And you've got the whole penguin. It kind of looks like a spacesuit, but I'm assuming it's not for space. It's just for like.
It's extra 1 power armor, and I need to find those 2 videos because extra 1 power armor was the power armor used by the Enclave, which was the deep state of the Fallout universe.
Yeah.
So everything was designed to fuck with the conspirators.
Well, we love that, and go ahead.
Even in that video with Sabaton, Dreadnoughts, if you look real closely at the Ospreys, I put numbers on the Ospreys that were specifically there to fuck with the heads of the Joint Chiefs have their own zip code. And I put the zip code of Murakudama, and this is all public information, but not well known.
Yeah,
this is all public information, but I put a bunch of numbers, all the numbers that will make them think it's something.
You know what?
I gave them numbers to hunt for.
That's exactly what you got to do because they love the numerology. Jester is here. I don't know if Jester's just showed up or if Jester is just poking their head up for the first time. But welcome. I was just wrapping up the 169 special. Commander and I are often hanging out with Slim through the week. Yeah, we see the weasel there. We see it. You got to be careful with those weasels. But
we are a proud people.
People's a weird word for it.
How dare you?
But, you are 5 weasels in a trench coat. We never see the trench coat. Sometimes we see the lab coat. But you just got here. Well, Jester, welcome. I suggest you just wind it back 2 hours and 10 minutes and just watch the whole thing through because we were fucking delightful. And we had a great time. I am so proud to have made it to 169. I actually, there was for a long time, I thought I'd never hit 100. And so, and I actually was going to do the 69. I think everybody knows I was going to do the 69 sub special because when I hit, I think I was at like a 66 or 67 for like a month and a half. And I was like, well, if I ever make it to 69, I'll do a 69 sub special because 69 is hilarious for obvious reasons. And then I went past that and forgot. And then I went past 100 and didn't do anything. But we made it to 169, which is pretty cool. I think I'm actually gonna get 170 something, but with my new job and stuff, I've just been trying to figure it out. And Majestic Back says they had to defend their life with an axe against a weasel. Well, I mean, that's a good thing to do. I actually have a hilarious story from my life. It's not my life directly. It's a very roundabout one, but it's a weasel story. And I sent Vandy a picture of it, but I can't share the whole story here. But my daughter's friend's sister, and there's two sisters, and they're close in age, but my daughter's friends with the younger sister. Anyway, they're all horse riding people, but they don't all ride at the same place. Anyway, her friend went to go get her horse riding stuff out of the horse riding equipment box. Most people use like a pretty big toolbox to keep all their gear in. And so I'm imagining something like that. I haven't gone to check that that's the exact thing they use. But my daughter has like a big tool chest that has like little dolly wheels on it. So I'm assuming they opened that, and that's what I'm imagining because I wasn't there. And a tiny little white weasel came out of it, and the thing was like, I forgot I did this with my camera, like this long, and they got a picture of it out in the snow because it ran outside, and they got a picture of it out in the snow. Anyway, it's hilarious. White rabbit steering the little fucker distracted with a fresh rabbit and sped off on a snowmobile. Wow, this must have been one wascally wabbit. This is the second time Bugs Bunny showed up because what was it that Bugs said? I must have made a wrong turn at Albuquerque. I was trying to make that joke when my sound.
I don't think that was what Bugs Bunny said. I think that's what the guy who just told the SR-71 story said.
Yeah, but Bugs Bunny said I must have made a wrong turn.
And Bugs Bunny, yes, and Bugs Bunny was always Albuquerque. I should have made a different turn at Albuquerque.
And
one thing I have to say,
go
ahead. Well, if you ever go to New Mexico, what you should do is go to the Tucson. No, I'm thinking, look, I get those two states messed up. If you ever go to the Southwest, go to the Tucson Gym Show.
Okay. Yeah, Tucson's in Arizona. And but like Tucson and I think I'm hitting a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Yeah, see, Jester knows what I'm talking about. Bugs Bunny was always making wrong turns. And also, just to bring penguins back into it, Bugs Bunny also had a very interesting time getting a penguin back to Antarctica and found out that it was from the Hoboken Circus or something like that. Anyway, Hoboken is in New Jersey, for those of you that aren't familiar.
And something I said is going to attract the attention of some people, so I just want to say this. I wanted to tell you after I was accused in a private message of doing something that I was cleared and I thought the number, but I was afraid the horrible stuff accusations would just happen again. So I kept it secret, and if I hadn't slipped, I would have just kept the fact that I was given the number a few days after the horrible accusations were made. And then I was given the new number after that from the man himself. So there's been no problems for more than a year, sir.
Well, that's good. And I don't think you're going to get any accusations from my crew, but you never know. You never knew. No, not that I have a real crew here. These are the 169 plus people that come to watch me, or they're mostly here for my Mudflap song, which is my newest song.
Oh,
you guys heard the Mud Flap song?
I love your songs.
Oh,
I love your
appreciate that, Commander.
songs.
And I really like the last one I listened to that Commander had was like this real, like sort of metal song, and it was a very it's probably not your most recent song. It's the last one I remember listening to. A really good sort of metal sound to it, and a lot of cool video. And that's something that Commander does a really great job on. Is your animations and video clips are really cool. So I think everyone will check that out. I just see the albino bear getting confused with a polar bear. Holy shit! I don't know about that one, Jester, but that sounds like a horrible thing. Anyway, I've been saying goodbye for 15 minutes, which is what I usually do. And Tap just ran away. So we got to wait for him to come back so we can say goodbye again. But we are going to say goodbye and wrap this up. And Commander, I don't think you have to worry about anybody giving you any trouble. And if they do, just let me know.
And your audio just cut out again for some strange reason or another.
Yeah, your audio cut out. All right. But I'm back and I can say bye. No, we can't hear you. Nope.
I'm hoping that he was talking about, was it the Grifter song where the box
I don't
sings
know.
about how it's a grift? Oh,
Yeah.
we can't even tell what I'm saying.
How about we just wrap it up and wave goodbye? I have no idea what's going on.
Which is an outtake that will be preserved forever and ever and ever, unless he nukes the last 15 minutes of this.
So that's a wrap, folks.
That's all, folks. I'm a strain either.
I don't know. I'm just gonna